What is your favorite memory in your first car? All the memory we had with my father. Even though my first car is old already, I will never sell or even let it just go to trash. I still give the full maintenance I could give. My first car was an old busted up Kia. There's nothing like your first car, just holding the keys, keeping stuff in there, the smell, knowing it's yours, and the freedom is so magical. My favorite memory was driving to school senior year and driving past the kids at the bus stop. I thought I was the she, yet I desperately wanted PPL to know I had a car. I would park where everyone could see me, walk down the school hallway holding my loud keys on a lanyard, McDonald's bag, and Starbucks cup. My mom used to drive me to school before I got my first car, and we used to pass this 1969 Volvo that I always said was my dream car. A year later I started dating a guy from school and it ended up being his dad's car. We broke up and 6 months later our parents met and ended up getting married. I was gifted the car. I moved to LA and ended up selling it beforehand in Texas. One day in LA I walked outside and it was parked across the street from my house. It still had my homemade Fugazi sticker on it. I still think about that car all the time. Kinda lame, but I had just gotten my license at 24. I hadn't driven on the freeway yet. A coworker friend of mine helped me get used to it. Now every time I go up the on-ramp I always hear him say, "Punch it." Having sex for the first time in one, and last for that matter, never again lol. Still, a good memory. Does anyone else remember doing it? The freedom it afforded me to just get away from my family. When I broke into a retired military airstrip and drove really fast down the runway. I remember filling it up for 44 cents per gallon. Felt like I was almost an adult. Yes, old 1969 Chevrolet Impala. Used regular leaded gasoline edited to add vehicle details. My first car was just an economy car. No special memory for when I drove it for 7 years. But after getting better cars, my first car became a hobby test subject, and my favorite memory was polishing it to look new again. Not needing a key to open or even start it if you knew how to Fonzie it right. Going on a road trip with my friends. We drove for hours, singing along to our favorite songs, stopping at roadside diners, and just enjoying each other's company. It was a carefree adventure that I'll never forget. I'm 39 and my first car was a 1970 Impala that my dad sold me at full price, and I had to fix the brakes myself. But my favorite memory was night cruises by myself listening to Europe, Aussie, AFI and so on. It was like flying through the night. No destination, just me, the car and the road. Driving everyone to Whataburger for lunch during school. It was a 72 Malibu with Yosemite Sam floor mats, and I didn't go anywhere under 80. 2002 Crown Vic. Mild rock crawling 1/4 of July. I still have my first car. I bought it in 1987. I also still have my third car and my seventh. There are a bunch of memories in each. I can't think of a favorite, it would depend on my mood at the time. My first of 3 convertibles. Man, I wish I still had one. The breeze of the air. Hanging out with the guys in the bed of my 80s Ford Ranger when I was a teen. Not a care in the world besides finding some booze and where to go party. Parking at a KFC parking lot in deep winter and the hood basically explodes with smoke and steam, and I drive it through the snow with no power steering and no power brakes all the way to park it at a mechanic shop and get a ride home. From there that was a trip the Serpentine belt had busted. I think. 1993 Chevy Corsica. The freedom to drive around and pick up friends. I hated having to wait for someone to get me, or having to ask my parents after a long week of them working to take me somewhere. I also was always full of anxiety when my friends drove. I preferred to drive everyone instead. Then I got a stereo system in my car and everyone wanted to ride with me anyway. When I first went to my first drive-thru I was so happy eating that burger in my car. Corolla 2006 S.